Hey guys, J77 here doing an audio version of What's News. Um, and the reason is as followed, especially for those who did not know what I have mentioned in my entertainment roundup audio, which I have in my old channel. Um, YouTube has been messing up a lot lately, and it has gotten to the point where I can't even post videos, at least to my liking. It either don't load at all, or it just gives me bugs where it's saying I have shaky cam or dark images, or the lighting is dark, which is not true. For reasons is I check the video before I even post it to make sure everything's working properly. And two, and this is the most important part, I have Blimp. I have a Blimp account, and it works perfectly fine on the Blimp account. It's the same videos that is shaking and wobbling for reasons I do not know. It works perfectly fine on Blimp, and I have no problem with Blimp answers yet, and that's the thing that really begins to bother me. Now, am I going to do this permanently? No, I'm going to go back to the original format I normally do, minus the ones that I actually set up for audio. But for now, because of the reasons I can't explain, YouTube seems to upload things that is not video oriented but more audio oriented. So I'm gonna go with the audio and just put my voice on. I probably have an image or just have a one image depending on the situation. But more than likely it'll probably be a one image where I'm talking about some things that regarding the news world. So that's not gonna change. But for those who are used to see me in video, especially with the other videos that I'm going to be doing, the short ones, I do apologize, but understand that it's something that I cannot control at this moment. It is something I'm trying to see if I can actually get fixed. But right now, I'm gonna be honest. It's just the problem is obvious. YouTube is glitching. I'm not the only one that's going through the situation. A lot of other people is going through it. I have an idea why, because I don't believe this is just an accident. I think that it's being done deliberately, and I got my reasons for it. But for now, all I can do is just continue doing my content until it comes to the point where I can't even do that anymore on these channels. If worst come to worst, I'll probably leave links to my other sites that I work with. MaticExpression.com, NetDwellers.com, ComicBookCast.com, and BlueHawkMedia.com. I mostly place some of my videos there. Some, depending on the content I have, you'll see them in those areas. But for the time being, most of my stuff will be in audio. If I'm going to do it in video, it's probably going to be put on Blimp first before I put it on YouTube. Or sometimes I just leave it on Blimp and just let it be an exclusive Blimp on video and nothing else. So it all depends. Hopefully that somebody finally get Google to look into their problems. One thing that's been aggravating with Google is that there's no way to contact. They don't got no telephone number. They do have troubleshooters, but it's provides very little help in how to deal with the situation. And to me, I need to speak to an actual person. I need to speak to a person who is going to actually instruct me or at least fix the problem from their end, so that way I can actually do my videos again. But they don't have a number. It's almost impossible to get to them. But if you guys do know the number, by all means, please leave it down on the link below. I will make the phone call myself and get them on the phone and tell them, hey, look, fix this damn problem. I can't post videos. That's the bottom line. So with that being said, I spent 4 minutes explaining the situation. I might as well go right straight to the news. I'm going to keep it minimum. I will be touching on the news I originally supposed to be touching on. I want to get those things over with, but unfortunately there's a lot of stuff that happened that I want to get right straight to the point to. No question about it. I did a video on this. I was going to use it as my own personal vlog, but something went terribly wrong with the video. I had to delete it, and I was unsuccessful to post that back again. And basically, it's pointless now to even to have that video up because of the time and date. So I'm just basically going to just start from scratch using this audio and explain what's going on. As you guys know, Hurricane Sandy hit New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and most of the Northeast area. It left devastation, death, and destruction all over the tri-state area, all over the 5 boroughs. Everybody was affected by it. At one point or another, I myself was affected. I was pretty much grounded in Brooklyn. Train service was non-existent. They got back on service, surprisingly, but only in limited rides. They was not leaving the cities. Most of the trains, if you were in Brooklyn and you need to get to Manhattan, you're not going to catch a train in Manhattan. That's just not going to happen. And that's largely because almost every train that was leading to Manhattan is flooded. There were some trains going to the Bronx. Those are the trains that were pretty much the only ones that was going out of boroughs. But Brooklyn was pretty much grounded to within the stops they had. You also had no shuttles. The Franklin Avenue shuttle and the Long Beach shuttle. Sorry, the Beach Channel shuttle has been shut down. That's due to some damage on the tracks as well as flooding. There was actually pictures of a boat actually making it to the tracks, and believe me, if you take a look at the bridge heading towards Rockaway Park and Far Rockaway, that alone should tell you just how serious that hurricane was, because it's a pretty good a few feet down, a few feet below between the bridge and the water, and the fact that you had to have a boat landing on top of that, that says a lot. A lot of casualties, especially for those who did not heed the warning. Unfortunately, that it happened. One of the saddest reports was that a family member was pretty much lost. The mother was hospital. The father, for what I last checked, was nowhere to be found. I'm pretty sure they found it by now. If he does, I definitely will do an upgrade on that. But the daughter, who was a teenager, passed away. And this was largely because the family did not leave. They started to stick it out. And that was largely because the last hurricane that came to our radar, they left the house only to come back to have their place robbed. So they decided not to go through that again. They stayed. Unfortunately, the water tide was pretty much unmerciless and basically destroyed that part of the area in Staten Island. It looked like a war zone right there. There's pretty much nothing left. It was pretty much rubble, and that was it. And as a result, you had some casualties that happened. A lot of casualties have happened. A lot of sad stories. Most of the casualties happened with falling trees. Others drowning-related deaths. So they still haven't gave us the official loss of life yet. They so far, from last time I checked, was at 24, but it could have gone up as I'm doing this audio. So yeah, it's been pretty messed up. New York has been turned upside down, as well as New Jersey. New Jersey got hammered as well. And I will say this about this, and this will lead me to pretty much a mini rant, because not for my officials, but for the people who had made some heartless, stupid comments, and in regards to Chris Christie, and I'm gonna get to him for a minute. But first, I gotta give praises where praises due. Our officials acted professionally. They kept us informed. They pretty much, they pretty much was on the job. They was when we needed to hear from them, we heard from them. The MTA, which by the way has been criticized for a lot of things in the past, and rightfully so. There's no way you can criticize them for a job they have done. They had a plan already in motion. They have implemented that plan by closing down the subways a day in advance. They was monitoring the weather system. They had everything already set up. There was no subway closed, and as a result of their plan and how they prepared this plan, the MTA avoided probably a very serious casualties by doing that. The damage to the subways is unbelievable. I mean, the photos, the images. I myself living in an area where I'm nearby train is just you just scratch your head on how serious the situation could have been for those who were still riding the trains during this hurricane. There's floods everywhere in the tunnels, and like I said, they're slowly starting to get everything back in. But make no mistake about it, MTA has a lot of work to do. I have a humongous work to do with repairing the damages, both in the subway systems, and the subway stations, and the tracks and tunnels. They got a whole lot of work ahead of them. But like I said, it's something that I'm willing to go through. Than hearing that the subway didn't do anything, and that we had a lot of casualties because they did not heed the warning and shut down the subway lines the way they supposed to did. So kudos to them. Kudos, my respects go out, my hat go out to Cuomo on his job and how to handle the situation. Bloomberg, same thing. Great job in this in handling this situation, and Chris Christie as well. Chris Christie surprised me to this last few days, and that was largely because when the news broke out about this storm, about this hurricane heading through, he was constantly on the radio, constantly talking to the media, constantly telling his people, "Hey, look, don't play games with this. Get out. This is not something that you want to take your chances on. It's not worth risking your life over," which he's absolutely right, which got me a little upset by a lot of people deliberately taking pictures of an upcoming storm, and having the police even risking their lives because guys didn't know when to move away from the area. And man, was those areas got hit. I mean, they still have not gotten power. People still cannot come back to their homes. Some people can't even go to their homes because there's nothing there to go to. I have a family member who is an uncle, who's my uncle, who has his son and his wife and their relatives whose house has been damaged, probably beyond repair. They have relatives living with them for a while until things get straightened out. But make no mistake about it, everybody felt the wrath of this. And if they haven't evacuated, God knows what can happen. So the officials, along with everybody, and even the newscasters today, to their certain respects, exception of Fox a little bit, I'll get to that again, have done their job, keeping us up to date, keeping us informed, and pretty much the officials who we see with our own eyes do what they have been elected to do, represent the city, keeping the city informed about the situation, and I got nothing but respect and hats goes out to all of them for a job well done. With that being said, I might as well get on to the rant that I'm going to be talking about here because it's not much for the politicians. It's for how these people have advanced that have made their comments, whether by YouTube, Twitter, or whatever. I think Undertaker Fiend said it best. I will leave a link to his video because he made a very good point. Whether you like his video or not, there's one video I actually totally agree with. But seeing what was going on, seeing how some of these people have commented, seeing how these comments was triggered, and it was all based on Christie, more on the president. And yeah, this has something to do with the president, but not in a way that everybody wants to carry the Fiend. It makes me scratch my head, and how selfish, insensitive, racist, how non-minded, and how much they are so closed in their own world that they don't realize what's going on here. As you all know, Christie has been communicating with President Obama about the situation. He's been constantly on the phone, communicating. He was alongside with Obama, walking through the disaster areas. They have been talking. Then he even said he appraised Obama for the job well done. And look, he did a good job. He didn't waste any time getting out of pretty much campaign mode into what we have elected him to do, and he done it well. He have kept informed with with Cuomo, kept informed with the mayor, kept informed with Christie and people in New Jersey, and he has constantly been assessing the damages, constantly been figuring out what ways to help. He's been sending a team down in New York, a water team, which, to be honest, I don't think anybody knew actually existed. I didn't know there was a special water team unit to drain out water. Obviously we do. This is like the first time I ever heard of it, but okay. So it's something that I'm actually I'm proud of the president doing. He's on top of his game, as well as all these officials top of the game. So why am I upset? Well, here's the thing. Christie, as you know, is a Republican, and he had an interview, I believe, with Fox, which I'm not surprised at all about how they handled it. I just see it and basically he explained how he basically praised uh, Obama for responding the way he did and constantly communicating. And Fox, doing what Fox do, decided to make it a political thing and shifted it into Romney. Now, they said we Romney visit tour the site as well, and Christie pretty much said something that I kind of I expected him to say, and respected me more for saying it, even though it is Fox News. And he basically said he really didn't care if he coming or not. We have a situation. Politics is not my major concern right now. It's a concern of the state he represents, and he needs to make sure that he gets the resource he needs to get the state back on its feet. That is what any uh, politician should be thinking right now, especially those who was hit the most by this storm, by this hurricane. There is nothing, there's no ifs or buts about it. And I think he handled that very well. I think he responded it well, and he pretty much said, "Look, we may have differences, but right now that's not the time to be sharing that. Right now we got to get the city, we got to get the state back on its feet. We have a lot of people who are misplaced, a lot of people who can't even get to their work, their jobs. A lot of people don't even have proper food and clothing or water. Right now, I am more concerned about that than anything else. I know the mayor of our city, of my city, Bloomberg, was giving out water himself in some areas that can't even use their faucets for drinking supply. So, yeah, I got nothing against that. And in fact, I praise Christie, because he was one of the first people I heard on the radio, really, communicating, keeping his state informed, pretty much keeping our state informed, because we get New Jersey radio as well, and I really had no problem about that. The fact is they even try to bring up anything involving Romney. And look, I'm not going to knock Romney on this. This is not more on Romney. Romney didn't say anything about Governor Christie, nor did he say anything about Obama. He's campaigning. He's doing what he got to do. Whether he visited Christie or not, that's not really the main problem. That's not really the concern. The concern is you have people going online, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, or even YouTube, saying stuff like, well, he's a traitor. How dare he? He should turn off. He's supposed to be a Republican. How dare he does this? How dare he shakes hands with Obama? He showed his true colors. Are you serious? Are you really serious? Or are you just stuck in a bubble that you don't realize what the seriousness my state, as well as the state of New Jersey, has gone through, as well as other states who've also been affected? Because the New Jersey and New York is not the only one. Most of the Northeast got affected hard by this. And so people to come out and say these stupid things obviously tells me that they are not in touch with what's going on. They're really not. I am not knocking Christie for what he said. I'm not knocking Christie for working with the president. I'm not even knocking Christie for even saying that he wants to restrict Halloween, which was yesterday. I'm not going to do that. Nor anyone in this anyone should. Now, a lot of people was upset about the Halloween thing. I say, look, he's not going to really force it on people, but all he's being saying is be careful where you go around there, especially in those hotspots where it's deemed unsafe. That's fair enough. And let's be honest, Halloween was the least on anybody's mind because not many people were trick-or-treating. Not when there's people who lost their homes or lost loved ones and are stranded. School hasn't opened up yet. From what I understand, it's going to be opened up on Monday. But there were a lot of the things that we're going through. And the fact that people will play politics on this, and the fact they want to criticize Christie, shows us how much hatred that some of these people have for the president. They really do. There's no reason for these type of comments to go in anywhere. Not YouTube, not Blimp, not Twitter or Facebook, nowhere. The fact that people comment on it makes me sick. That really angers me. Are you that filled with hate for this guy that even in a situation of a disaster where people have lost their lives, people are homeless right now, people can't even get to their jobs, that you're willing to just brush all that aside and say to Christie, don't work with that man? he does that, he gonna lose his job. They can be crying for him to step down, and rightfully so. I'm actually happy, and I'm actually happy that he's not letting this stupidity of criticism get to him. Because he shouldn't let them get to him. Because number one, he has a job to do. He has a state that he needs to get back on track. He needs to get back running again. The same thing with New York. Robert Cuomo has said it best. We need to start working on rebuilding. We never have gotten hit like this before, and we need to try to figure out a way to get back on our feet. At the same time, have a new plan so that way we have a better way to prepare for this. Not to say that wasn't prepared. They did everything they can to prepare for this. But obviously, they never thought the water would be this catastrophic. But you got people out there who just don't get that. And look, I understand that a lot of people do not like Obama for many reasons. But you know what? There's a time to hate the guy and a time to just basically put that aside right now and let's get the situation. Let's get our state back to where it is. This is not one of the times to go out and throw hatred. It's not the one time to throw out feedback. And speaking of that, how dare they throw feedback at Christie? And these are probably people who don't live in New York, who do not feel the effects like I do, or others living in the tri-state area. So they probably don't care. But that's the big problem what I have seen with a lot of politics and a lot of people in general. A lot of people is for this me in their own little personal bubble. The hell with everybody else. If it doesn't affect me and my family, the hell with them. And that's a terrible way of thinking. And I always go by philosophy that I've learned. It took me a long time to learn. These are also based on the news that I've been hearing, tragic stories that I've been hearing, the stuff that people who are in power do that affects everyone down there. When something happens that affects one, it affects all. Whether in a community base or in a financial base, we all feel it. Don't get it twisted. You may not live in the state of New York, you may not live in the state of Jersey, but I guarantee you, in some way, shape, or form, you're going to feel it. You may not be indirectly involved, but you're going to feel it somehow. And if you don't think it's going to be felt on it, look at how much the damage is going to cost to prepare the fix in both New York and New Jersey combined, and you tell me will that not affect you? A lot of people live in this bubble, man, and it's bothering and it's sickening. And I'm gonna call it like it is. Some of these people who are bashing Christie for talking to Obama, communicating with Obama, letting Obama tour the disaster site, are a bunch of racist pricks who really honestly don't know how the country works. These guys, whether you like them or not, are supposed to represent the people of the state. Chris Christie is doing what he has been elected to do. And I gotta say, right now, he's doing his job. I may not agree with some of the stuff he has improvised. I may not like the stuff he has said in the past in terms of his philosophy and cutting spending, cutting taxes, shrinking government. I may not agree with that. I'm not getting on him on this. He has a job to do. And that job, part of that job is when it comes to disaster situation, he needs to be on point. He needs to keep us informed. We need to know what him and his office, along with everyone else who is around him, is going to do in terms of getting New Jersey back in its feet, as well as my mayor, as my governor. And you know what? He has done it. He is doing it right now. The hell with politics right now for him. To him, politics is the least of his concern. His concern is getting New Jersey back on its feet as fast as he possibly can, and if it means talking to the enemy, which a lot of people are saying that he's doing, then so be it. And I always ask myself this question here, and I'm gonna ask myself, since everybody wants to live in a bubble and think about themselves and nobody else out there, nobody else who's been affected by this, none of the people who has died as a result of this hurricane. Put yourself in their shoes. If this storm would have hit your town or city, and you have felt the same situation that a lot of New Yorkers and a lot of people from the adjoining state is feeling, especially those in Connecticut, would you be saying the same thing right now if your governor, who happens to be probably Republican, is working with Obama? I think not. So enough with the hatred already, enough with the crap, and just think before you probably make all these stupid comments. That's all I ask. Think. And I know a lot of people probably going to post comments about this saying, how dare I offend this. Look, you don't know who I'm going to vote for. You don't know who I'm going to be going for. For all I know is Romney can win this election. For all I know is Obama can win this election. Right now, in terms of the situation we're dealing with right now, that's irrelevant. It is. You know, I asked myself the question here, and about almost a year and a half now since we started going to full swing in terms of the presidential elections, about why a lot of Republicans all across the state wanted Christie to run for president. I never understood what it was. I never understood why everybody so hell-bent on having Chris Christie run. Well, you know what? After seeing the candidates that were trying to get the Republican nominee, and after the stuff that was coming out of their mouths, it's very easy why. It's staring you right in the face. And sadly is, the people who probably made those comments against Chris Christie are just as extremist, just as vile, just as hateful, just as narrow-minded, just as overly religious as the politics that was running, or the politician, the Republican nominee who's running right now. It is sad. It is sad how a lot of people have this selfish hatred, narrow-minded attitude in this country. 2012 going on 2013, we got this kind of attitude going on across the globe. I don't understand it. Well, you know what? Hatred and narrow-minded can get you so far, and then it can hurt you down the road. That's all I gotta say. But in terms of Christie, no, I'm not gonna get on him. I think he's doing fine. I think he's done a terrific job in terms of informing people. It's a shame that I now realize that why they want to run for president. I do believe that, and I say if because he can still win. Romney can still win. I don't go by people saying, oh, Obama's going to win automatically. I'm not buying into that. I learned not to get into that. We'll know once the day finally comes who wins the presidential elections. But I'm saying this, if Mitt Romney does not, I won't be surprised 2016 Christie runs for president. Because right now I'm not comfortable with what the others out there right now. I'm really not. Well, that's pretty much what's going on between that. That's what's going on between that issue. I'm going to leave it as that. For now, I will touch on the other news, which I originally was going to do as part of this What's News, but I am going to cut this one in half. I don't want to go above the 31-minute mark, so that's one of the reasons why. And I will let you guys comment on below. Look, again, if you're going to tell me the reason why you felt Christie is fine, tell me. Don't just give me a lame ass excuse. All right, you can head a bomb all you want, but there's no reason for the stuff that was going on with people was commenting about Christie's being traded. Give me a real legitimate excuse. But until then, I'll leave links to some of the articles below. I'll leave a link to Undertaker Freak and his and how he viewed the situation, and I'll let you guys read for yourself. And as always, Leave a comment below. Love to hear your opinion. Until then, this is J77 saying take care. Be safe. Talk to you soon.